Hey guys, it is me, Tired as Fuck Rux. And today, I kind of just feel like talking, so got some points written down over here, and I kind of just want to talk about uniqueness. Now, the reason I want to talk about uniqueness is I want to talk about what it does for me personally, what it does for my branding, what it does for my music, and then circle back to me, what all of it together does for me. Now, you've probably looked at me and thought, huh, there's something about this guy. He's got some stuff going on. The funny thing about that is I have had this stuff in my face for so long that I forget that it's there. I forget that when people meet me for the first time, this is shocking to them. And there's something interesting about that. Let's go back. Let's go way back to 14-year-old, 13-year-old Dustin. Okay? So, I didn't have any confidence. Barely have confidence now, but I surely have a lot more than I ever used to have. And I'm sure a lot of us could relate. Not all of us were just, we didn't all have confidence. And I met one of my close friends, my arguably my best friend, Willie, or T2 Kazuya is his artist name. He makes brilliant music. We've been friends since I was like 9. We just met on Acid Planet, and there's something special about the guy. Now, I don't mean to do a puff piece if he watches this. I'm sorry, but meeting you changed my life in a lot of ways. Most notably my confidence, my ability to be who I want to be started with you. Now, I say that because he was one of the most unique people I ever met. He looked like a video game character to me back then. Still does now. But it made me wonder, how do you just, do that? Very fashionable guy. We talked about it. We talked a lot about fashion, and, at that time, prior to 14, I had just, let my mom pick out whatever, and I just wore whatever. It doesn't matter how it fit, as long as I'm wearing clothes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to clarify, you do not need to be in fashion. It's not something you have to have. It's not a type of uniqueness that you need to have. It's just, this is why I want to start with what uniqueness does for self. So for me, in the position that I was in, I was making music. I was enjoying it. At the time it was only a hobby. I was just learning. I was experimenting. And, I remember on his MySpace, he always had, every once in a while, he'd post a new picture. And I'm just like, damn, dude, you're so fucking cool. I want to be that cool. And it, led into me experimenting with my looks and trying new things. I became a stereotypical scene kid back in the day. And I'm going to show some pictures on the screen, actually, of the oldest photo that I have of me where I was just normal. And then obviously here's me now. But I'll show some other pictures that are kind of funny and interesting. So I really just was enamored by how cool he was. I was like, fuck, this guy is so fucking cool. I want to be cool. But also at the same time, I had a really weird conflict where I was my friends in high school, middle school, high school, they're also kind of cool. I say kind of cool because you need to understand his fashion was just nowhere near what I was seeing here. It was not even close. But like scene kid stuff and like punk rock and emo stuff was like really popping off hard, and that was just kind of the fashion. It was just, you go to Hot Topic, sometimes you go to PacSun. There was like a few other stores, like Trip Pants were real popular, and you just kind of, that was what you picked. You know, accessories as well, bracelets. I mean, I had the bracelets all the way up to my I was like that kid that had bracelets like from here all the way to here. It was ridiculous. And I remember that he had told me, and I don't know if he remembers this, but he had told me, like, when you look good, you feel good. And I never really understood that until many, many years later. And I also remember in one of my classes in high school, we had a teacher that taught us about like self-image and like regards to your mental health, like your self-image and what it does for you. And it's like the closer you are to the self-image that you have, whether it's good or bad, that's, you know, it just depends. Some people have a horrible self-image where they think that that's them, but it's not. It's just an exaggerated version of themselves, and it's a negative thing. But for me, my self-image was, there's this person I want to be, and like this is like the version of me that I want. How do I get to that? And it took a long time. It took a very, very, very long time. I still struggle back and forth with it, but you know, it's one of those things where once I like fell into it, you know, you're in that awkward phase as a teenager, and then you grow and you continue to, like, it just evolves. It evolves with you until you become one with it. And I feel like I'm there. I'm pretty comfortable with where I'm at now and how I look. You know, there's things that I obviously want to change. There's things that I'm sure a lot of you want to change depending on what position you are with, you know, this whole self journey. And this whole like idea of uniqueness for me, I don't want to be like somebody that you can forget. And I think that just ties into music. It ties into my branding. It's like I want people to look at me and not forget. And that's just a personal fear. I don't want to be forgotten. You know, not even just by like appearance. I don't want to be forgotten like by the things that I do, the things that I say. I want to be remembered. And a lot of that, I think, just kind of intertwines with the whole self thing of me wanting to feel good about how I look. I'm an artistic person, and I wanted that to reflect. You know, I want people to look at me and go, that guy's fucking artistic as shit. And I'm sure people do that. People assume a lot of things about me when they look at me, and some is not so savory, and that's fine. You know, that's gonna happen. There's gonna be people that don't like the you that you are, and fuck them. You know, if someone doesn't like the you that you are, fuck them. You know, this journey has caused me a lot of grief, admittedly, and it's in my opinion mostly an older generation that isn't accepting. And there's, don't get me wrong, people in my generation that aren't accepting either, but it was hell. It was hell. You know, getting a job was hell looking like this. I started getting piercings when I was 14. I got this done twice when I was 14. Got this then when I was like 16. Septum when I was 19, and I started stretching it. The last thing that I got was this guy in the middle here, and that was recent. Semi-recently. It was quite a few years ago, but... And, you know, people over time, they just don't like it. And that's fine. They don't have to. Because what I really wanted you to get out of this was, it is so important for you to love you. And whatever it takes, whether it's being unique or not, doesn't matter. This is just, you know, that part is for me. But you really need to love you, because only you will love you in the ways that you need, you know, before other people will love you as well. And it's interesting because my partner, you know, she says, if you were locked in a room with you, would you like that person, or would you dislike that person? And I think that pretty much sells it. I mean, if you don't like you, then you wouldn't want to be locked in a room with yourself. Me, I think I could probably chill with myself and, you know, and enjoy it to a degree. But that's a pretty good way to look at it. How it ties into my branding. Now, let's just say all that earlier conversational talk, you do art or music in general, like art in general, and it's gonna tie into it regardless, you know? You don't have to fake it. You don't need to fake it. Faking your branding is a weird thing to do. Because when you fake your like branding and what you show, it just makes you look fake, and then you're not gonna be happy. You know, never fake your branding. That's a weird thing to do, and it's not good for you. You know, all of this, it goes right back into self. You know, you've got self at the very top. Branding, music, art, etc., whatever. Self is it starts at self, and then ends at self. It's just that's how it is. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up the whole branding thing is you've got the name Rux Ton, you've got the art that goes with it. You know, when people think of Rux Ton, what do they think? They think of like the varying types of skull art that I've posted, the things happening on the side here. This was my very first logo I ever made. Right here. It's kind of hard to. It's a little hard, but that was my very first logo. It was a pixel skull that I made with headphones in MS Paint at my school library. And then after I got it, I was like, I want to get it tattooed on me. So when I turned 16, that is exactly what I did. And it really it's there to remind me, you know, how and where I started when I really decided to take music serious. The Rux Ton logo is merely a deviation of that because it's a different type of skull, but it's still pixelated, and all the pixel art stuff is just because I love video games, you know, and I think that's important to take into consideration when you're branding something like a project or a business, like what kind of things you like and what makes you you. And that's going to make you unique anyway, you know? I did a video on this channel where I was making fun of people who ask if somebody can help you come up with a name for yourself. And I know it's not always like easy. It doesn't always just come to people. But some of those things where I'm like, well, if you love it and you care about it, don't just like pick a random thing because you're going to be stuck with that. You know, it's like you wouldn't want to be stuck with something you don't like and don't care for. Branding is so important because of that. And it's going to tie right back into self. Are you going to be happy with it? Is it going to be something that you can see longevity with, you know? It's important. And the Rux Ton project is that. And what's funny is the Rux Ton project, for those who don't know, if you haven't figured it out, I kind of personify that with, you know, there's like those pieces of art that I've made where it's like there's me, and then there's that like Rux Ton character that wears the skull mask thing. It's really just a personification of that. That's why this topic is so important to me. It's like this Rux Ton guy with the skull mask is like the person I want to be. And then this is, you know, just me. This person I want to be is trying very hard to guide me. But a lot of the times I'm not, you know what I mean? It's like a duality back and forth. That's what Forever Circles was about. That's why the music video was shot the way that it was, even though I did all by myself. It's very me. And it's weird because I know there's people that don't really want to be unique, that don't want to fit that are okay with fitting a mold, and I just want to clarify that is okay. If you want to fit in a mold and add to the pool, that is perfectly acceptable, because what matters most is if you are happy with that decision, and you have to live with that. You know, for the type of person that I am, as I've already said, I want to stand out. I want to make a difference by standing out, and being the weirdo with, you know, the piercings and I don't want to say tattoos, because tattoos are so common now, which is great because it makes me feel less insane. But body mods that's a whole nother spiel, but we can talk about that too. Let's go back to self, because it always goes back to self. Body mods were a way for me to decorate my body and express myself in a way where there's parts of me that I don't like, and everybody has that. I don't like, you know, I have Hungarian roots. I don't like those Hungarian roots. I have in my opinion, a large nose, and I was like, well, what do I do with that? And it's funny because the last thing you would want to do is bring attention to it. But here I am. Here I have brought attention to it, and I'm going to do something gross. So I'm going to give you a bit of a warning. I'm going to take this out, but I want you guys to, I do want to show this off a little bit. So this is a tusk. A very good friend of mine made this for me, and it is 1/2 inch in diameter at its biggest point. I mean, it's probably give or take a little bit more or less, but I have a hole in my nose that is 1/2 inch big, and I just slip this in and it goes in. It's just easier when you have two hands, and yeah, I can breathe just fine. But all of this makes me feel, I'm thinking about talking to T2 about this, and he would say, you know, looking like a video game character is cool. It's fun. Life is fun, right? Life is supposed to be fun. I want to look like a fucking video game character. And I think I'm going to continue living life by that. There's a quote that I made up when I was younger, called, at least I think I made it up. I don't remember if I made it up or I got it from a rapper, but regardless, it's cool. It's like, play the part, be the part. And, you know, if I'm walking around looking the way that I look, people might think, you know, either like, is he famous or is he just a weird guy? And I like that. I like that. It's not exactly the attention that I want, because I don't do this for the attention, but from the entertainer perspective that I do have, you know, I like that. But I'm comfortable with me, more importantly, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to love yourself. I will say this over and over and over and over until the day that I pass away. You need to love yourself, because nobody will love you the same way that you will. And it's not easy. You know, I've had my ups and downs. I still have my ups and downs. Like currently, I struggle with my weight. I don't like my weight. I use making jokes as a means to, you know, lessen the burden, or so to speak, about how I feel about my weight. And, you know, I'm slowly but surely working on it. I just cut sugar, not all the way, but I used to drink pop a lot. I am currently drinking a Coke Zero, but if I choose to drink soda, it's more than likely going to be sugarless, and I'm proud of that, because I also drink water a lot too. Shout outs to Gamer Subs. I'm not a sponsor, but Gamer Subs has really helped me shift back into drinking water. And, you know, I know this was like a long-winded, that we have reached the 20-minute mark, but we're not done yet. I just want to stress how you don't have to be unique. But if it's you, it's you. And I don't want you to watch this or listen and go, damn, he's really pushing this whole be unique thing. But it's like, the point of this is what uniqueness does for me. And maybe somebody out there is struggling with, you know, how they feel about themselves. And I hope this reaches you. I hope that this reaches you and gives you the encouragement to go out and experiment with your fashion to make you feel a way that maybe you didn't know that you could feel. You know, like in terms of fashion and things that I like to do, I like to wear leggings. You know, leggings, in my opinion, don't necessarily need to be gender specific. I don't really care about gender specific things anyway, because I've seen people wear clothes from either gender and look awesome in it. But something that I like, I was into this because of T2, actually. He was really into, oh gosh, I'm having a hard time remembering the name of it, but there was like Japanese style street fashion. I think he's still into it today. That stuff was crazy back then to me, because I've never seen anything like that before. And I still think it's amazing. So I've adopted stuff that I've seen from there. So I do wear like leggings with shorts. And the cool thing about wearing leggings and shorts is you can buy shorts for the hot seasons. And then when it's wintertime, you can just put the leggings on underneath of the shorts. And it's cheap as fuck, and so am I. So I do have quite a few pairs of leggings and some cool shorts. Shirts are weird. I've kind of been into graphic tees lately, which I tried so hard to stay away from graphic tees for some weird reason for a while, because I thought it was too immature. But now I'm like, you know, it is what it is. I like to lean on the comfortable side of fashion, but also being slightly edgy. So it's like edgy and comfort, I guess. I don't know. I like it though. It makes me feel good. You know, I go out in my 7-Eleven joggers with a Pac-Man t-shirt and my 7-Eleven Crocs that I also own. And I like it. You know, it makes me happy, and I think that's what you want out of like fashion, right? You want to put it on and it makes you feel good, and it's not gender specific. If that bothers you, I'm sorry, but I mean, look at me. I don't really care. You shouldn't be limited by gender with clothing, you know? It's kind of stupid. If you want to wear fishnet, rock it, because you can. You can. If you've ever wanted to wear something and you were too afraid to do it, just do it. Who cares? You know, is somebody going to look at you? Is that going to bother you? You know? Then at that point, you're not doing it to appease other people. And that's not good. Because you deserve the love. You deserve that affirmation. And that was something that I did struggle with, you know. I mean, looking the way that I look currently, I used to get hung up on how people looked at me, and I occasionally do, don't get me wrong. I don't like ooglers, which is a big problem. For some reason, people think that I'm like an object. And like, here's a good example. People compliment or ask questions about my piercings. Cool with it. Like it. It's... You know, it gives me like a little bit of a box to stand on and educate. But the negative interactions, I don't like when someone's like, oh, hey, look at, hey, insert name of their friend who's behind them. Come here and look, they got the same thing that blah, blah, blah. It's like, talk to me like a person, you know, like that's the only thing that really bothers me. Otherwise, you know, I've been made fun of for how tight my pants are. I've been made fun of for my hair. Everything under the sun that you can think that I've been made fun of for. My facial hair, which, you know, it is what it is. I've got thin facial hair. It's a little patchy. It is not even a little. It's very patchy, but it is what it is. It's work with what you got, you know? Work with what you got and rock it, because it's all you can do, you know? And if it makes you happy, again, as I've said that so many times throughout this, if it makes you happy, do it. If it's something that's been on your mind for so long, do it. This whole like Donkey Kong tattoo sleeve that we've been working on, I have wanted this since I was 14. And I waited a very long time. A very long time. Not that I was worried, really, but I wanted a very good artist. Shout outs to Tony Touch for being an incredible artist. I've definitely stopped myself from wearing certain things, from listening to certain things too, ironically enough. But just don't hold yourself back. It's not worth it. Your time on this earth is very limited, so make use of it. You know, just be you. Be you. If you're gender fluid, non-binary, and that's a hard thing to navigate, and I do totally understand that is something that's hard to do, but I'm there with you in terms of support. I fully support you. You know, if you want to dress androgynous, do it. Be happy in your skin. You're gonna have some bumps in the road of people who don't accept you for who you are, whether it's any of those things that I've talked about or a gender thing, and you know what? You're gonna be met with malice, but it's okay, because you're going to trek past that and you are gonna be on top every time. And maybe that's ignorant of me to say, and if it is, I apologize, but I still feel the same. I know that if it bothers you what other people think, that's one moment you have to deal with that, you know. It's like, they're bothered, all right, and they're done. You get to go home. You get to finish your day, and maybe you see them again, and then they're like, oh, bothered again, but then it's like, oh, but at the end of the night, you know, you go home to you or your partner or your family, your pets, your friends, and they love you, and that's important. This was quite a ramble, and I realize I went all over the place. So, in summary, if you want to be unique, but do all of this for you. Only do this for you. And do it because you want to and not for somebody else. Never ever let somebody else dictate your direction for a project, your direction for your branding in general, your direction for you, your direction for your fashion. Don't let someone else be in charge of that. You take charge. You're the captain of the ship. You are the leader. You steer your ship where you need to go. And I will end on that. I love you guys. The support that you guys have given me this year has been amazing. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I hope this made doing a menial task a little bit easier. I realized that this was mostly supposed to be audio, but I will post video, but you can still just listen to this regardless. It doesn't matter. You do not need the video up to listen to this, but you guys are incredible. And the fact that I've been able to do what I do for as long as I do is all thanks to you guys for loving me and loving what I do. And I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, I've had support in so many different ways. I've met so many amazing people because of doing music that I can't ever see myself stopping, and I don't plan on it. You know, this journey has taught me a lot about myself. You know, I do this music thing for myself first because I genuinely love doing music. But the fact that I'm able to touch and inspire other people and get messages from people, like I recently had somebody who does dance videos dance to one of my songs, and the fact that I could inspire them, you know, to do art is insane. And I hope that I can continue to do that. I hope that maybe this talk would push you to either try something new or to try something that maybe you were too scared of. Take the leap. You know, take this little leap. That's all it is. It's not even a leap. Just take one step. One step forward is still one step forward. It is still progress, no matter how many steps you take. If it's just one and you're going forward, every step is progress, and that's important. And on that note, I love you guys. I hope to do another one of these soon, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.